88% of all change management initiatives fail according to reports. Some say slightly less than that, some say it's more. But either way, it is a big number for a failure percentage. I've worked on various such initiatives, starting off as a support and then later as a lead in the last 4 or more years. I've worked on workforce transformation and change management project, which is similar to 2Pay here in the UK. It affected over 7,000 people. I've also designed policies and procedures for 2 different organizations in 2 different countries, which would mean 2 entirely different sets of labor laws and cultural paradigms. I've also designed and implemented ERP systems, that is enterprise resource planning systems, from the ground up in 2 different organizations, once again in 2 different countries. And neither of these initiatives failed. In fact, they turned out to be more than just transformational. I can say they ended up becoming something what I would refer to as end user friendly, which is why I decided to note down the mishaps that most change operators see and how I would rather approach them or have approached them in the past. Number 1, be thorough with the process, both the process of the project as well as of the organization that are already in place. For example, payroll or inventory, etc., which are generally separated from the main project so as to not hinder the routine or day-to-day operations of the organization. Let me give you an example. We were trying to onboard a set of people, but their documents were being displaced every now and then, which would mean that their salaries would not be paid for over 2 months. This was definitely not ideal. When we looked at it from a management purview, we couldn't really figure out what was actually causing the issue. But when we understood the process of the project as well as the organizations thoroughly, we realized that the inventory management team was not taken on board in the project. We're already equipped with all of the systems to make sure none of the products or packages that came to them would get displaced. And just like that, in just a week or 2, when the team joined us, we ensured that all of the onboardings went on time and also the payments were cleared on time. Number 2, be flexible. Complacency will make you Kodak. Strive to be IBM instead. If you do not know the story of IBM, check out this video link of mine and you'll know the story. Change management in itself births many challenges along the way, and being adamant about one single defined strategy will give you a one-way ticket to failure land. It is oftentimes that unwillingness to change strategy when it is clearly necessary is what pushes the project completion date further and further away. These 2 aspects, when combined with the second most important aspect of them all, which is the first most important, we'll soon find out. Number 3 in the list is anonymous, regular feedback received from all stakeholders involved. Now, this will give rise to better ways to complete the project successfully. Now, when I say successfully, you should hear the word efficiently, because this will eliminate resistance to change. Because when we talk about communication being paramount in projects like this, we do not mean obedience to what the management has decided to impose upon us all. We mean exchange of thoughts to determine areas of improvement. Having a single well-defined strategy may be a bad idea, but having a clear strategy is not. We often get wound up by the how aspects of the project. How are we going to get this done? How soon? Or how are we going to tackle the challenges we're going to see along the way? But the emphasis should be rather on the why aspects. Why are we working on this project? Why are we going to get this done by this time frame? Why are we going to use these techniques to tackle the challenges we're going to see along the way? Because only then will our focus move towards how the implications and the effects of our decisions will have on the people of the organization. Similarly, number 4 is momentum. We power through to complete the project, especially when we find better ways to complete it sooner, only to show off that we managed to complete it quicker than we had estimated it to. It is important for us to stop and think if we are going in the right direction, and if its implications on people and the overall business is not too harsh, and that we are not overlooking them. Because if it is so, we have failed before the project is even completed, because we would be investing so much more money into fixing the problems that we saw along the way after we are done completing the project. And the last but the most important of them all, not being change averse. I can swear by the fact that because my senior leaders, or change approvers for a lack of a better description, were supportive and accepting of any change that was presented before them, including a complete switchover, that we saw monumental successes at the end. So I can say that change management in itself is not a difficult job. Carrying it out in a righteous way most definitely is. There isn't a right way of getting it done, but There always is a righteous way, and we need to find it and make sure that we implement it.